So today we're just going to talk a little bit about my background. So my name is Dr. Stephanie Taylor. I have a bachelor's degree in molecular biology and biochemistry from the University of Texas at Dallas and a PhD in biochemistry from the University of Texas at Austin. I've accidentally been bouncing around the state of Texas most of my life just because there were programs that were interesting to me, and so that's where I went. My background's actually in biochemistry, so I have background looking at kinetics, how fast enzymes go, so those little molecular machines inside of cells. I've always been fascinated by how cells work and how they basically look like little mini factories and what you can do to get some of their insides to speed up, slow down, how all of that works. It's always been my main fascination. What I do now is a little bit different. Now I actually teach. So after a postdoc in chemical education, I actually teach at the University of Texas at Dallas. Yes, back where I got my bachelor's degree. It's changed a lot though, for the better, but it's a bigger school now. And what I do is I teach everything from general chemistry, those nice introduction freshman courses, to biochemistry, to helping current high school teachers and middle school teachers and elementary school teachers understand chemistry, and even some research courses where I basically am helping guide students through creating their own projects. So I do a lot of different classes. They're all really tons of fun for me. And really what's interesting is that it's helping communicate science and teach other people how to both communicate science and why some of those basics are important. Oftentimes you have people that are like, well, I'm going to be a doctor and I don't need any of this stuff. I just need to know how all the bones work and the muscles, and that's what I need. And the truth is that you need to be able to understand how different drugs may interact in the body and how those drugs are going to interact in different parts of a cell and what those might do and what that looks like. So part of my job, as strange as it is to be an advocate for science and to explain to other people why it's important and to show them that it's important. Yes, even other science majors, because oftentimes they just want to get in, get what they need, and get back out again. It's part of my job to show why it's important, why it's interesting, and why it might be useful in the future. So one of the other things I was supposed to talk about is hardships I faced as a woman in science. This one's difficult for me because honestly, I think I get oblivious and don't always notice. So when some of the Me Too movement was going on and they were asking like, well, what have you seen and what have you done? I was like, well, I mean, there's always been some of my male colleagues that basically don't listen to me, but I always figured it was their loss because about a week later, they'll come back to me with the idea that I told them. So that does happen. That does happen relatively frequently, sadly. So I've been in lots of those conversations, but those are usually the main hard things. The other thing just to realize that does happen a lot, and happens to me a fair amount, is I'll worry over much about how much I'm judged. And frankly, no one cares. But I'll give you a really good example. So I've been making these videos and I've been putting on makeup before I put on the videos. This is mostly because in the current climate, I'm working from home, and putting on makeup is my way of being like, I am ready for the day. I am ready for the world. I am at work. I don't always wear makeup to work, but frankly, I get to stay in my pajama pants, so I'm putting on makeup instead of my nice slacks. So it's my way of being like, no, I'm at work now. But when you're talking about like, well, what is it to be a woman in science? I'm like, oh, geez, I don't want them to think that they have to wear makeup, because no one has to wear makeup to be good at science. It's not a thing. But I'm putting this on mostly just so that I can start my day and say, all right, so before I was eating breakfast, and now that I have moved 3 feet, now I'm at work. But that's what the makeup's doing for me. But there's lots of little things like that people will either judge you for, but more oftentimes, women often worry that they're being judged. When the truth is, we're all just trying to figure out how to look halfway decent and do our jobs. And different people solve the problem of wearing glasses and goggles for safety reasons, and then what to do with both their hair and their makeup. Do you just say, if I'm going to be decked out in all of my PPE today, then I just won't worry about it, and I'll put on my makeup if I'm actually going to go out later? Or do you go ahead and try to dress decently and then deal with goggle lines and everything else like that? Everyone solves those problems in their own ways. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. And oftentimes people will just kind of trade tips to be like, so what are you going to do and how are you going to solve it? And it's usually out of curiosity to see how you've solved that problem, because everybody's got the like, well, I need closed-toed shoes and I shouldn't really wear sneakers if I'm in a professional environment. What are we going to do? And the number of like nice women's shoes that also cover your entire foot just aren't all out there. So I know this sounds really trivial, and it is, and that's kind of the good news. But it's just to keep in mind that everybody has those small things, and those small things are things that women have to worry about, women have to try to deal with, and women have to try to solve, which I don't know if you've ever looked at men's dress shoes, cover your whole foot just fine. So those are just some of those weird little things that women have to go through. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This one's a little bit longer than I expected, but I had 4 different things to talk about. Hope it helps. Have a wonderful day. Bye.